Hi guys, welcome back to the Drive Life channel. In today's video we're going to give you a 3-month update with the EV3. So we've had this car 3 months, it's done 3,500 miles already, and that's been a huge majority of mostly motorway, but also quite a few varied A roads, B roads, that sort of stuff. We're quite rural here, so it takes us now to get to the motorway anyway. But I've been using this car to drive up and down from north to south. Mrs. DL's been using this car for daily errands, popping to the shops, that sort of thing. So we're going to give you a full lowdown on what it's been like, what it's like to live with on a day-to-day basis. So these 3 months have actually gone really quickly. It didn't help the fact we were away for a month, getting married and going on honeymoon, that sort of thing. But this car has already, I think, sealed its fate, the fact that we want to keep it forever. It's been that good, that simple and easy to run. And actually it's cost us next to nothing. And we'll go into that shortly. But as a day-to-day vehicle, Kia have really thought about everything. The way the interior is set up, the way the boot space, the rear leg room, that sort of thing. It just does everything perfectly. You can't really find any issues with it. The ride is super comfortable, and there's a whole suite of technology to help you. Well, you never get bored, that's for sure. And it's always there as a safety net to catch you if you'll get caught out. So from that point of view, I'd say this car is perhaps one of the best cars on the market. Kia are doing some seriously good stuff in the EV space, and actually, you know what, for 45 grand, you struggle to find a better car from any other legacy manufacturer, especially an EV. Now, that's the thing, is that there aren't many EVs on the market at this price that can do the range. Now, in terms of range and efficiency, I've been seeing around 350 miles of range from a full charge. Now, that's exactly what Kia says it should be, 358, I think it is, on the GT Line S. Now, that's with a mixture of motorway driving and also A-road driving. And the way I've worked that out is I've worked out my distance that I've driven divided by my percentage. So 50% is exactly what I use to drive from here to Surrey. And that journey is 178 miles there or thereabouts. So it's absolutely bang on what Kia say. Now, in terms of efficiency, it does vary. On the motorway, I get around 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour. Around town, I've seen as high as 6.5. I did a 15-mile journey yesterday, average 6.2. So it's just an incredibly efficient vehicle for something that's actually quite a big car. In terms of charging costs, I've actually only charged at a public charger 3 times, and all of those were before we actually had the home charger fitted. Since then, we haven't charged publicly ever. I think that's in part due to the fact we've got such a long range. The longest journey I do is down to Surrey, which is, give or take 200 miles. Leaves this car with about 50% battery. I've then got free charging at work, so I plug it in and charge it up to 100%, which I know you're not meant to do on a regular basis, but I only go once or twice a month. So it's good just to top the car up, get as much free energy as I can, and then we probably do a week and a half's worth of driving on that free energy by the time we get back. So it really doesn't do too much hard work when it's not cruising up and down the motorway, this car. Now, when I did charge publicly, cost range, Shell recharge is incredibly expensive. I think it was £36 for this car. That was running at the maximum 125 kilowatts, and I think it took us 15-20 minutes, so really wasn't difficult. Actually, what I found is using InstaVolt off-peak, that was much cheaper. I think I charged for around £22 there, and that took me from 20 to 80% in about 20 minutes again. So although charging can be expensive publicly, there are ways to get around it. Obviously, you've got Octopus Electroverse as well, which gives you discount on certain chargers, which is also nice. But in terms of home charging, this thing is costing us pittance. A full charge, or let's say a near full charge from 10% up to 100% is going to cost you around £4.90 in this car if you were to put 70 kilowatt hours. We don't often do that. We don't ever really run it down below 35%. So we tend to put 30 to 40% in at a time, maybe even 50% if we're feeling cheeky, and that costs about £2 a time. But because you've got so much range in this car, you don't actually charge that often at home either. So we didn't go for a tethered option. I'm glad I didn't, because we keep the cable in the front and it doesn't clutter up the driveway. It just, it's just there when we need it, which is nice and handy. So one of the reasons we bought the EV3 was for its practicality. We've got a baby on the way. We've got two big dogs, a Labrador and a Golden Retriever. So we wanted something that could do family life. Now we're at that point in our time, and we actually bought this as our wedding present. So kind of a suitable investment in my eyes. Anyway, boot space has been fantastic. We can fit two big dogs in there, no problem. And they're very comfortable indeed. Everything else, chucking everything else in the boot, suitcases, that sort of thing, I don't think we've even come close. What's the biggest thing do you think we've fitted in there?
Two dogs.
Two dogs. That's probably the biggest
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, they're about 65 kilos between them.
Yeah,
Like both
65 kilos a dog.
No, not a dog. Both dogs.
No. Combined of dogs.
That would be a big lab dog.
That would be a very big lab. That would be Great Dane, Bergamasco territory, wouldn't it? So, the only thing to note with that is the false floor has a 60 kilo limit, so we've dropped the floor down so it's not affected by the limit. But yeah, otherwise we've had office chairs in there, bits of furniture, been no problem at all. In fact, you can drop the seats down as well, just makes it cavernous. And if you lift the floor up, it goes completely flat as well, which is nice. In terms of back seat leg room, we'll head over there now. We've got 3 large books in the back, so that's handy. So again, people have remarked at the site the amount of leg room they've got, even with my Blazer on the little coat hook there. And what's nice is that you can control all of the rear seat heating and everything from the infotainment screen. So if you're picking someone up and it's a cold day, you can preheat the seat for them, and then they notice, oh, it's quite nice and warm in here. So, little things like that are handy. The fact, I tell you, actually something that we did find quite useful when we put the seats down was the little slots for the belts to go in here. That also stops them rattling around as well, which is quite handy. Just something worth noting if you're ever about. We haven't actually used vehicle to load yet, which is something I'm keen to test. We had a power cut the other day. By the time we realised that we had a power cut, they'd fixed it. We'd been out all day and we just caught the tail end of it. So that's something I want to test out. And in terms of all the other technology, I think we'll head inside the car and I'll talk you through what I've been using most, what I haven't been using. Okay. So the inside of this car has been a lovely place to be. Placement of the screens, everything like that, nice, easy, can't fault it at all. Big breakthrough was to map the Apple CarPlay to this button here. All you need to do is just press and hold that star. Then that gives you options, just select frame projection. That's handy. I like the Kia Maps, actually. It's the first mapping system I've ever used that I've liked in a car. And it's been fantastic. You can just zoom in and out. It seems to predict everything that you want it to do. Very accurate on traffic, knows all the traffic because it's powered by Google Maps. No different to using Google Maps through Apple CarPlay, except you get all the sort of battery preconditioning built in. So that's why I use it. Another thing I've noticed is to do with the wireless charging pad down here. Now, if you're running maps on Apple CarPlay and music, I find your phone, whilst wireless charging, actually gets too hot, so it stops charging. It's something that has been a complaint in a couple of Kia models with the wireless charging pad, and I think it's just something that you've got to bear in mind. So that's why I find running the maps through the infotainment system is a much better way of doing things. Climate control system, everybody moans about it, where it's placed. I don't think it's too much of an issue. The only thing that's slightly unintuitive is the modes. Selecting the modes of how you want the air blown at you. I often just use it on the driver only mode as well, just to cut down on energy usage. This configurable dash, I think once you configure it once as well, you don't ever touch it again. I tend to drive with the regen off, coasting on large A roads, and then I'll just tap a bit on if I want to ease off on the speeds. Mrs. D Elsewhere is my iPad, and I've been using that more and more, and it's actually quite nice and quite easy to be quite smooth with it with a lot of practice. Just an odd thing to get used to, but no, otherwise this car's been absolutely fantastic. I even used a table to do a Teams meeting, which was bizarre. But unfortunately my laptop wasn't low enough battery to justify plugging into the 3-pin plug in the back. So I think I would like some more storage If you could lift this table up and still get a storage bucket, then I think
I
that'd be
think you
good.
can buy more storage.
Yes, you can buy. I've seen on the Facebook group you can buy storage to go in the centre cubby drawers and that sort of thing. So I think we might look at that.
Might we?
Yes, we might. But you know, other things I love, the fact that you can preheat or pre-cool the car just makes sense, doesn't it? Why bother wasting energy when you can be warm by the time you get in the car? On a rainy day, it's just nice to have your seat pre-warmed and your steering wheel warm as well. That's all controlled through the app. The app's been fantastic with a few little teething issues at the start, but otherwise it's been brilliant. And I can sit in this car and do a 6-hour journey, no problem. No need to stop. It's been super comfy, and I've never felt like the battery range has really slowed me down. Coming from a Mercedes that would do 700-800 miles on a tank, I've never done that in one go. So, and I think if you're doing 400 miles or 350 miles, you probably want a 20-minute break to charge anyway. So I think that's a non-argument now with ranges like this compared to internal combustion engines. What else have I done? Like I said, the highway driving assist is brilliant. The fact that you can just let the car do most of the work in traffic. I was on the M25 the other night, an hour and a half queuing, and the car just did it all for me. I got home and I wasn't really tired. It just takes so much of that effort out of driving, which is really, really nice indeed. So yeah, overall, only positive things to say really. It hasn't given us any issues at all. There have been a few people moaning, rightly so, complaining about the ICC issues that some of these cars have. I think that's in the earlier cars. And for those of you who don't know what the ICCU is, it's essentially the alternator that charges the 12-volt battery. And I'll do a separate video on that, the causes, symptoms, that sort of thing. But touch words, we seem to be okay. And I've also had fun recently playing with the interior lights as well. So yeah, but otherwise, no, it's been absolutely fantastic. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.